Going on the road. Okay, it's 5:30. I'd like to bring the work session to order. And I know I have on the agenda, we were at local law, but we're going to go to the park directors here. So we're going to do the daffodil garden. Excellent.
So I'm gonna speak into this, or
Mr. Merrill, yeah, you just got to hit the
louder.
green light to turn that on. Push, where it says push.
All right. Yeah, so the daffodil project. I just wanted to share with you guys more or less informationally. So back earlier in the year, Krista Nielsen had contacted me on behalf of some of her friends, one of them being Jennifer Fadden, the mother of Reese Fadden. Reese was Kevin, if you, actually,
Sure.
the different group that we had in the first one. Yeah, you could go and go back. That was the group of friends that had contacted me, and what they wanted to do was memorialize Reese in some way. And so she had contacted me. All of these ladies, Lysander Park and the Parks and Rec Department was special to them, and the reason they came to us because they would all been camp counselors at one time with the Parks and Rec Department, and the Fadden family lives in Candlewood, pretty much across from the park. So they had contacted me, Krista had contacted me wanting to know if there was some way that they could memorialize Reese within the park, doing something in the park. So we had spoke and some options, benches along the trail, an extension to the trail, beautification of the current trail, whatever. So we talked about some options and what certain things would cost, and they certainly pay for whatever they do. So she came back with an idea. Anyway, backing up, so Jennifer Fadden's daughter, Reese, was an elementary student at Eldon, and she had passed away a little bit over a year ago, suddenly. So the friends, and on behalf of the family, wanted to, again, that's why they contacted us and wanted to find a way that they can memorialize her. So Krista had gotten back to me after we both had discussed some different ideas, and she had come up with or come across what was called the Daffodil Project, and it was based on initially what she had found in her hometown was a park that had various daffodil gardens, pretty sizable gardens throughout the park. But the whole daffodil project, or her idea here in doing the daffodil garden, was based on the Daffodil Project, which was started a number of years ago to memorialize children that had perished during the Holocaust. And then also there's another daffodil project that was started by New Yorkers for Parks to memorialize those who were lost on September 11th. But also to beautify the boroughs and parks around New York City. So this is kind of where her idea was based upon. So I like the idea. I had some conversations with Councilor Gerasi. He loved the idea. Told us all about his daffodil garden that he created to memorialize his wife. So the Daffodil Garden is it. So they've given it a name other than the Daffodil Project. So they're ready to kind of go live with their promotion and fundraising to begin this. Krista and I met with Keith Ewald at the park just to review some different areas where I would prefer that we start out with the gardens where they had, where we together had some ideas of where to put the gardens. So the area that we came up with is from the park entrance going south towards the village along Smoky Hollow Road under the locust trees we have planted there. So their initial plans to do this, and that's the drawings we have up there from Keith, and Keith is with Barton and the Judas, I don't know if I say that right. Krista came across, knew him through, she has a connection with Barton the Judas, so he volunteered his services to put this together and kind of help determine also the size of the garden based on the number of bulbs that they want to plant throughout their phases. So initially the plan is 2 phases, which would be 1 phase each fall of approximately 10,000 bulbs. Actually it'll get a lot of volunteer help, but be quite the stunning scene at the entrance to the park. So they're ready to go live with their fundraising and promotion, and yeah, just wanted to inform you guys, and that's what come fall will be starting in the park.
Is the board okay with that? I mean, we've accepted other, we have the butterfly garden. I think, Cindy, you were involved. Were you involved with that at the beginning?
I was for a while, but then it got to be too much.
Yes. I mean, we've taken similar things like this in the past. So, I think it's a good area.
It is.
It's one area that isn't really, it's not used by anything else other than the entranceway. It would definitely beautify the entrance. Just wanted to keep the board informed. Make sure everything was good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Absolutely. Was something. Thanks, Kevin. Okay. Next item up on the agenda are local law updates, zoning code updates. I think the board members finally had a chance to look over the updates that the town engineer, Mr. Corey, and myself, we've all worked on for the last 6, 8, 10 months. And then I also threw in, because we're sending these to all the boards, a farm animal law, which was sort of separate. And I just added on there in case, do we want to move forward with that? Do we have any ideas? Because I know when we talked, if we made changes, we had to send it back through all the boards, per the attorney. So I didn't know where.
I'd say we just remove that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay. Oh, here's our easy chance to send it along. So we will remove that.
Yes, thank you, Chuck.
And also tonight, because we have that on the agenda for that, we're also going to be extending the moratoriums with the solar farm and the battery energy storage. Just to keep the public informed, myself and the planning board chairman watched a Zoom video conference put on by the Association of Parents, and we were hoping to get some more insight on Tier 2 energy storage, but there really wasn't a lot that gave us any hopes on how we can do that and keep it safe in an area. So we won't be referring anything on that yet, because we'll be talking to the board further about what our steps are with Tier 2 energy storage after the moratorium. I'm not comfortable with our current fire service and protection and what the alternatives are to the remediations for any energy storage like that to be taken care of.
Yeah, I think we have 2 options. Either we outright ban them, or you do only allow solid state batteries, no lithium ion. Solid state stable, doesn't have fire risk. It's just more, the technology isn't quite there yet to do solid state battery energy storage on a large scale at an economically viable return, essentially. I think that technology is coming along, and I think as that technology advances, the prices will come down, and that will be the industry standard, just because it is much less, or much more stable and doesn't have the fire risk associated with lithium-ion batteries.
So we're going to pass the moratorium that goes to September 20th. Are you suggesting after that date we do something different?
I would say that between now and then, we work on a local law that will address the concerns that the board and I think the whole community has with the lithium-ion battery energy storage, and either outright ban all battery energy storage or ban lithium-ion energy storage and just go to only allow solid-state, non-flammable energy storage systems. So a solid-state battery is like a AA battery. There's no liquid in it. It's a stable,
So there's legitimate reasons for banning the lithium-ion. Why would we ban the other one, the solid?
Well, the concern with lithium-ion is the fire.
I got that.
Yeah.
Why you're saying we could actually ban all battery storage, and I'm asking. I mean, that sounds great, but why would you ban a solid state if there's no?
There isn't a reason to, other than.
Well, I would hope that we could formulate a local law between now and September 20th, and we can do a ban on lithium-ion batteries, an outright ban.
I mean, on large scale, I mean, obviously you're not going to take somebody's home drill battery away or lithium-ion power wall pack that they've installed for battery backup in their home, but on a large scale, from a fire protection standpoint, we just don't have it's an undue burden to put on an all-volunteer fire service that we rely on, to expect them to control a fire from one of those systems.
And the presentation also tried to show a lessened effect of environmental issues with the fires they've seen and the testing they've done, but I'm not so sure I trust that.
Definitely, that presentation.
I'm not sure how something melts and it doesn't go into the ground. You just douse it with water, that there aren't some kind of long-term effects on the product.
That presentation was definitely skewed to favor the developers of battery energy storage projects.
Right. And everybody has to remember that, on what would ORES fall into for battery energy storage? Would it have to be a combined project?
I think it would have to end up being a combined project.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way that the state can step in and overrule home rule on battery energy storage. I think only on energy production.
Okay.
But that's something we'll have to do a little more research on.
This goes back to large-scale suppliers, large-scale solar, over
20 megawatts.
Over 20 megawatts. So the proposals we've seen of wind farms south of us and west of us, east of, everywhere around us, these large format go through the state process that they sort of take the local law, the local home rule out of it when they're that large, and they go through a state process. We can give our best attempts at creating laws to protect our citizens, but the state does step in on larger things and take some of that authority out of the local hand. So I just want people to know that. We haven't had any large format projects even attempt to come to us, I don't think, even in a planning stage. Most of them have been less than 5 megawatts, I believe.
Well, now that the ORES is in effect, I don't think a large format project would even bother coming to the local first. They would go straight to the state and cut us off the pass, essentially.
Yeah.
But it is our responsibility. We need to be diligently reviewing the posted ORES notices on the environmental news bulletin. Somebody got to assign that task to somebody to look at that every month.
Right.
And make sure there isn't something in Lysander coming up.
And there were suggestions on large format how you could try to help yourself with your home rule law. So when we're looking at the energy storage, writing that, we can try to write a section for ORES, but I figured we should get the the normal, what we've discussed already for the local laws, moving along to referrals to the boards.
Yep.
So we can try to get something along, because now we'll be 2.5 years in on the solar moratorium and about 2 years in on the energy storage. So we can start getting hassle from developers at that point for extending moratoriums.
So who's going to pick up the ball on drafting a local law to ban?
Al and I will work on that. Hopefully we'll have something for our special meeting on the 26th to at least get started with and discuss. And I have some sample ORES laws that Association of Towns gave us from other municipalities that hopefully we can piece something together for a large project. So, okay. The next item on the agenda says lawsuit number 2. Really, this is about a retainer for lawsuit account. We're not going to discuss the lawsuit, obviously, but the retainer that was asked for by the representing firm, we have a conflict with our firm that represents us, so that's why we go through our insurance company. And Travelers Insurance they use Smith & Sovic. They're already working on the previous lawsuit, so Smith & Sovic has picked up the second lawsuit for Travelers. And that process, because at May we have in our policy, we cover up to $25,000 of attorney legal fees. In case it goes over that, and that's a big in case, we need to sign a retainer with the attorney group in case it supersedes our insurance coverage. So all this does is allow us to sign a retainer with the company to take care of that. So that was just an informative item. Okay, next item on the agenda, highway building. Mr. Butler,
Yeah.
would you like to come up here, or do you want to
I'm
stay?
already right here, what's up?
Okay, well, at the last meeting, I presented where the security cameras were shut off, and I got a call from you after.
Yeah.
And, we discussed that you felt it was your authority to be able to shut the cameras off.
That's correct.
And our town attorney and the Association of Towns feels that it's the town board's authority of the buildings.
I shut it off, they have a confidential meeting with one of my guys, so he didn't feel comfortable talking in front of the camera, so I shut it off.
There's no audio recording for the cameras.
I didn't know that, you didn't say that.
Well, we discussed it last October when they were put in, that there
Who
was
did?
no audio.
I didn't.
Your union steward had asked.
I wasn't
Your
told,
union
so.
rep at the time when we were at MNO. So I guess my question is, why was it off for the length of time if it was
Because I
shut
forgot to
off?
turn it back on.
And then when I went over to inspect the highway building the next week,
There was a lock on the door, yeah, that's because some stuff came up missing when nobody was there, so. I assumed
what was the stuff that was missing?
somebody had some personal things missing, so.
Personal things in.
They were on the table in the break room, so.
So what does the table in the break room have to do with the office
I
where
don't know,
the
I'm
security
just-
camera system is?
More security, I guess. That's why we're putting all kinds of security in, correct?
No, if somebody, well, we don't have any cameras in the break room because that's where people take a break, so we don't put them there.
All right.
It wasn't brought to my attention that anything was missing.
Why did anybody say anything to you? You wouldn't do nothing about it.
Okay. So the deadbolt that was
Keys in the
installed.
office, in the desk drawer over there, so both keys are there.
Okay. Were you going to inform the board that you put a deadbolt on the doors?
Yeah, when I showed up at the next meeting, yes.
Okay. So,
Because we got, somebody parks their truck in front of the overhead door, we can't seem to see who it is. And they seem to be sneaking around over to the highway garage too, so we can't figure out who it is.
oh,
I don't know why, but they park in front of the overhead door sideways, so.
oh, that would be me.
Oh, why?
Because as town supervisor, I was inspecting to see if the camera
Oh.
system was still on.
It's still on, you've seen the lights on. The red blinking light you've seen on, so parking the
But did you
truck-
ask to alter any of the buildings?
No, I did not.
Okay. but you've sat here and admitted that you don't have the authority.
I did not know that I didn't have the authority. I was told I had the authority, so.
Right, and I asked you when you called after that Thursday
Yeah.
night meeting, did you talk to your person who told you had the authority?
He said yes, that I did.
And
I
did
talked
you
to a
bring-
couple people.
Did you bring your information that shows the?
No, I did
the
not.
town law?
I jumped the gun.
Okay. So, do you feel that putting those deadbolts and locking other doors that could now prevent something else?
Such as
or
what?
access to the camera
Oh, you
system?
got keys to the whole, you got fob to all the doors over there, so what?
Well, FOB won't let you through a deadbolt if you lock it.
The other doors are all unlocked.
Okay.
You're the one that seems to be worried about the security over there.
Yeah, I do. When a majority of our assets sit in the highway barn in the building,
Well, then maybe you gotta get the sprinkler system inspected then. It hasn't been done in 8 years. And then you had the camera on, and we had 10 inches of sewer water in the shop too. That happened for what, 10 to 12 days?
Yep.
That obviously the cameras are being watched, but nobody did nothing about that.
The building that was there too.
He walked through it when he was over to the building.
Yes. And they were.
That was
wasn't it
sewage. That was
addressed?
sewage.
Wasn't it addressed?
10 days later, yeah.
Well, why did it take 10 days?
I have not a clue why it took 10 days.
I think that was the time Mr. Reeves was
That
here.
is
Did
correct.
Mr. Reeves inform anybody that?
I
there was
have not a
sewer
clue. You gotta ask him.
He walked through it.
He
He's
walked
the
through
building
it.
guy.
He walked through it
Yeah,
day one?
supposedly he's a building guy. He walked through it.
Him and the fire extinguisher people.
They walked right through 10 inches of sewage. It was gray water.
So you guys know nothing about it. That's what you say.
Well, nobody informed me, but the previous highway superintendent didn't
Okay.
tell me about
Well,
that until we were.
I don't know
having-
why he didn't tell you about it, but he didn't, obviously he didn't tell you about it.
Right.
So,
So are we gonna continue to keep doors locked without
no,
access?
are you gonna keep being vindictive towards the highway department like you said in the union meeting? Let me
What was-
see, you didn't say that neither, huh? Jeff was standing right next to you, being
No,
vindictive to the
I'd
highway
love to
department.
know why there's signs with me that say I'm a liar. So
Well,
I
you
think
are,
you have
so.
the answer. Go ahead and explain.
No, you said you were gonna take care of all this stuff as soon as you got elected, you never did nothing.
When did I say that?
Every time you came over, every week that you came over and ran, you said it. And he wouldn't treat the park people like he does, and that we'd have a contract as soon as you got in.
That's correct.
A year later, over a year is
Jeff
not.
heard you say you were gonna be vindictive to the highway department. Bob and Pete were told about it, they did nothing about
And
it.
Bruce Reeves was right there.
And I was gonna be vindictive to the.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Should I
yeah.
bring the paperwork in that shows it?
Yeah.
But what was my vindictiveness?
I have no
to the-
clue. Why would you say
Union
it?
Stewart collect.
Bob, did you not know about it? Pete, did you not know about it?
No, what, that was part of the union negotiations, so if you wanna get into union negotiations.
It's still vindictive.
No, because, do you wanna know why that brought up?
Then why did you
Because-
say you
why
were
would you
being
say
vindictive?
that?
We can go to the next one.
Why would the board stand behind you on that?
Everyone puts back and forth one at a time.
Why don't you explain why that started? Because we were presented with the union not wanting to answer their cell phones.
Okay.
2 days
No, that
before
one
the
started way before that, Kevin. You know
No,
it.
I don't
Okay.
think it did.
Okay.
Because then we still,
Wait a minute, it started when you changed everybody's hours. That's when it started.
because you weren't gonna answer your cell phones.
You gotta give a 2-week notice to change everybody's.
No, that was
Okay.
wrong.
New York State law
Mr.
states-
Briere and Mr. Power heard that in the negotiations.
You don't supersede New York State law.
New York State law says you gotta give 2 weeks. This all
We're
started
giving
with
enough time
you.
to the security cameras.
So, okay, so if you weren't gonna answer your phones, how do you come in at 3 o'clock in the
You
morning?
have to go get everybody's houses, I
You were
guess.
given plenty of time to get
Yeah.
pagers, which our contract states.
Yep.
If we don't choose to use our cell
Right.
phones, you supply the pagers. You chose not to act on it when you did, and I had the guy's number for the cell phone pagers that we had
Right.
pagers through before,
So on
said he could have them in an
December
hour,
You
in
showed
1
us
hour.
on December 29th, you came in and said we weren't gonna answer our cell
Well, wait a minute, let's go back to
So
the,
by
let's go back to
December
the.
31st, I was supposed to provide that, but then I explained to the union
Let's pull the
that the
cameras up,
cell
they show
phone
what else
reimbursement was a prepayment 6 months ahead, as I showed in all the payments the town's made over the
The
last
town's
9
never
years.
prepaid.
No. And your old
And your
comptroller
union
said
business
that
rep
that
agrees.
doesn't happen that way. Dave Rouse says it doesn't happen that way, and Nancy
No, Nobody
also
prepaid.
said,
And even though I showed you that the town paid for beepers all 2015, and you got a reimbursement in
Well,
December.
let's go back to the cameras. What are we gonna do with the cameras?
invade our privacy.
Nothing, they're on. That's
I
all
know.
they need to be.
So why are we here?
No, well, my question was because you deadbolted a room that is only supposed to be personnel items and inventory. And I don't know why you would deadbolt that room when
Because I
there's
did.
access.
Because I did. The keys are in the drawer. Is that enough?
That's fine.
All right, then drop it.
Well, it's public assets and public.
I understand, I get that.
And why we
I
didn't
get
have a
that.
camera system 10
If
years
the
ago when
public
they put it in
assets were so
here?
concerning,
nothing's been
they had
stolen.
sprinklers
Why wouldn't the
inspected.
sprinklers be inspected? The
That's
last time they were done is
something
8
they
years
actually
ago.
protect.
We're worried about fires with the camera. What's the camera gonna detect? Nothing. The sprinkler's gonna detect the fire first. I got pictures, 2017, last time they were inspected.
Who's doing the building maintenance? Who's the building guy?
Now, we'll act on
The
it.
guy you
Yeah.
appointed,
The guy you appointed.
That's correct.
but you want to appoint the highway superintendent? Are you kidding? How would that go?
I don't know.
He'll still have a job one day, don't worry.
My God.
So, well, thank you. That's all we needed to get to.
I thought you just wanted, you just wanted to show it off on TV. We gotta take care of
No,
it.
I didn't want to show it off on TV.
Oh, yes, you did. You said, why'd you do it last month?
For the last 2.5 years, we haven't had a problem.
Oh, come on.
You haven't had anything stolen there ever.
No shit.
But over at the park you have,
Joe,
right?
how do you know that?
How do I know that?
Do you
Because I've
take
been here 9
inventory?
years.
He worked
take
over the park
inventory?
too.
And I worked over at the park
He worked
when the
over at the
picnic
park.
table was stolen. Do you have cameras over there protecting those assets?
No.
No. What about Elizabeth Street? Cameras over there? Nope.
No, because the long pole plan on that building is to sell it.
Better make sure you got another building, put all the stuff in.
Absolutely. That's why we still have Elizabeth Street.
So I was told it was already sold and you're waiting for closing.
No.
By
No, did we have offers on that building? Absolutely.
Northside Collision. I know
If we
somebody in
acted on
Northside.
any of it? No. Can anybody come to us and want to purchase town property at any time? Absolutely. Do we have to sell it? Not at all. That's a board decision. Having nothing else on the agenda, can end the work session at 5:58. Thank you. We'll start the meeting at 6:30.
On this solar battery.
Oh, Mr. Buck, a Presbyterian cemetery at the end of Church Road in Plainview. Why have we not mowed it?
Because it's not the town.
They should be grandfathered.
Have we mowed that in the past?
20 years ago, before they went to court, and then Fred Birch approved the deed to the property.
If they had an application.
If you approved it, it's the town.
If they had an application.
Fred doesn't have it. Fred doesn't have
Before the
it.
moratorium went into effect.
Somebody's gotta find out who owns it. You find out who owns it, I'll mow it tomorrow.
So it has
As long
to
as I got permission to mow it.
storage.
See, the problem.
Well, no, money
They
is
had the problem when Ken was there, but they got the problem when
I say it's just something to keep in mind.
No,
If you prove to me Monday, I'll have guys out there
You don't
mowing.
want one of
no,
those
the
guys
previous
coming
agreement
around
was we talked to
afterwards.
Mr.
You guys
Birch about
decide
it.
to ban
And then if he
Say,
didn't mow it, we would mow
Been
it,
here
which has
for-
happened in the past. That's all.
All right, well then find out. We'll mow on Monday.
So why wasn't it done last year when Ken was in office? Why wasn't this
The
brought up?
cemetery was mowed.
No, it wasn't. Not last summer.
Rarely.
They have to be, per state law, they have to be mowed twice a year.
I know that. I've always said that.
So you know it.
Just trying to figure.
But then I've always been told, since Bruce Reed's left here, that cemetery over there has been nothing but an argument for the town. And then the town said, we do not legally own it.
Goes back to.
They said that 7, 8, 9 years ago. The last board of it. All you do is prove to me that we can mow it, I'll mow it.
Okay, I'll look into it.
I swear, you call me Monday morning, I will send 2 guys out and mow it, 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you. Yes,
Yes, excuse me. I was told to be here at 5:30 to make comments
for,
for North Entry.
oh, I'm
The
sorry.
speed limit on North Entry?
The clerk's been sick.
Okay.
So she wasn't in the last 2 days.
Okay.
But she told me I think you're asking about
Kenneth Bell.
a speed study?
Yes.
Yes.
It hasn't been done in 10 years or something?
Yeah, let me just turn this back on.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're okay. Sorry, I didn't realize you, I thought you might have been here for the Milton Farm Pump.
No, that's okay.
I apologize.
That's okay.
So Mr. Bell,
Yes.
reopen the work session briefly here.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
Mr. Bell, North Entry Road and Radis.
Yes. We're having a really bad speed problem on North Entry. They use it as a cut through. We have buses, we have kids, we have everybody down there. It's supposed to be 30 miles an hour. People fly through it with their trailers, their trucks, their buses, their, haul behind boats and everything else. Because at the end of the road is where they store it, but then they have another 30 mile an hour cutoff. It's like a quarter-mile racetrack through our whole area. And like I said, we have kids, we have buses, we have school kids playing out there, everything else. And I'm worried about it because we have one sign, 30 mile an hour, and I'd like to propose a sign that says, the speed limit is 30, and then flashes to bring it to their attention if possible. If possible. Since then, we've had 10 more buildings built on that road. Since then, you have Aspen House with kids and people walking out of there. You have the apartment complexes across the street. We have the school buses that drop people off there into school at the bus stop right there. And I'm worried about some kids are going to get hurt. And the walkers, the bicyclists, the kids playing in the streets, running back and forth from the other streets. I'm just worried somebody's going to get hurt really bad.
Right. So
the speed limit right now is 30.
Yes, sir.
So what would the speed study do? Not going to lower the speed limit.
Well, no, I'm not saying change the speed limit. I'm saying somehow adjust like that sign that flashes to let people know.
Yeah.
There's only one sign.
No, I get it. Yeah,
that's the one, as soon as you get off Willett and they're on 40 miles an hour, they hit us.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, they go 50.
Because
It's a quarter mile track.
I say we buy 3 of those signs that flash and put them up.
Have a discussion about
Which I hear.
Those signs.
That would be
you're
great.
talking about,
That would be
because
great.
they do, yeah.
They do let people know, hey,
They do.
this is a 30 and you're flashing and
And then we can move them around if
Yes, sir.
need be. I say
Yes,
we buy 3 of them and just move them around.
Now what I've asked, like Radisson, Timber Banks,
yes.
I've asked residents to go to the boards for those, so we get a formal request from like the RCA.
I don't think they can do anything because it's not their road. It's licensed.
No, but because Radisson sort of oversees the HOA, to have the RCA, which I'll talk to Lynn.
Yeah.
I'll talk to Lynn.
Okay, that'd be great. The second time I say
It's just,
it's Lysander's roads and we can't do anything on Lysander's roads.
no, but because you're in an HOA or like a.
I'm just worried about the kids getting hurt.
It gets a little more to the board.
Right.
It puts it in a
That'd be great.
scale that, your homeowners associations is supporting
Sure.
this path
Sure,
rather
it's
than.
more weight as
Right.
opposed to.
That's all.
Well, that'd be great if
We've
you
got
could do that.
thousands of people behind it as opposed to one, but I say, we'll put this on the work session.
That would
Say
be
we
great.
talked about buying 3 of those and.
And you're not the only person that is.
That would be great. If you could do that, that'd be wonderful. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does Dina have your information or no?
Yes, she does.
Okay, I can get everything from her.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for your time.
Sorry to miss you.
Thank you all very much.
Yes. Yep. Okay. Now we're done.
Thank you. I'm sorry about that.
No problem. No, it's not your fault. I should. Good.